Welcome, I'm here, you're here, let's see what happens. This is the TELUS STORYHIVE On Location Victoria with your Carpe Noctem Creators Challenge. We are coming to you live from House of Owl, Victoria's co-working club for creators. House of Owl is located on the unceded and traditional Lekwungen territories. Big respect, big love, deep bow to the original caretakers of this land, the Songhees and Esquimalt peoples. Let's get down to it. I'm Jordan Dack. I'm your host on an ongoing adventure of absolute creative mayhem. This is Carpe Noctem. The songwriters have been working on the track for, let's take a look at that. What is that? They've got 3 hours, Ellie being one of them. 3 hours, 10 minutes to go. Yeah, last time that we checked in, it was an hour ago. So we're gonna let the songwriters just keep doing what they're doing. Just pretend that we're not even here, guys, all right? Oh, well, wait, how's it going? How's it going? How are we feeling? Yeah?
Awesome. No one has killed each other.
No one has killed anyone yet. This is good news. Are we trying to, have we come up with a brand new idea, or are we trying to put original ideas together?
Yes.
Exactly. Good. Okay, well, don't let us bother you. Guys dive right back in. In a minute here, I'm going to sort of insert myself and just trying to capture some of what you guys are up to. All right?
Nice.
Okay.
So, yes, just structurally, the concept that I had in mind was that intro with Colleen, like I mentioned, that chorus intro, then into the Maya part. I hate to call them different people's parts, but it's easiest right now if we do it like that, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, we're writing one song, but because we had such good songs, from our 15-minute little thing, which is exactly what I anticipated, we're doing this a little differently than we probably would traditionally, where I know that we technically could have just all taken Maya's song or Colleen's song or Ellie's song or Drew's song and then gone with it. What I'm trying to help facilitate here is like how do we take the nuggets? How do we, I hate to be a cliche Caribbean person, but we're putting it all in one pot and making a nice stew. But, we don't want too much clove or too much pepper sauce or, so how do we balance that? And thus far, thanks to Ellie's brilliance from a transposing and stuff perspective, and Colleen's multi-instrumentalism, and the fact that no one is holding tight to, no, this is what I want, I think we're making really good progress. Yeah.
Very cool.
Sweet. So what's the next step?
Do you want to run through that progression one more time? That goes from Maya's part, the sort of that bridge you were working on, and then where it goes to that progression that you had, just kind of in one fell swoop, if you can. Maybe, I don't know, Maya, whether you want to sing along through that full part of yours?
You can sing your full verse.
I've been looking at you and it's on my mind. Lemons in the water, the truth ain't quite right. The smile of right, spread on my hands. Start again, start again.
I've lost the plot. So that's cool.
You want me to start singing it then?
Yeah, you maybe should do that. But what did I do here?
If you changed, always remember to I can't. Can you say the line for me? Just say it.
Almost. I almost remember, but I left my bad temper behind. So we were gonna get rid of the almost remember. I left my bad temper behind.
Always remember your hands in my hair. The night in November, as if I was there. The way you were staring, it felt like I knew. I always remember.
It's like so high now because we put it up a fifth.
Right.
So we'll probably come up with a new melody or someone else.
You're still in it though.
Thank you.
I think that when it's like actually, you know, you're hearing the music in your ear and it's more of a completed thing and you're in a studio, I think you'll.
Sure, but I
Or do you
personally.
mean just for your own range?
Yeah, 'cause, like,
was
the
that
note-
for your range at the, in the verse.
And the verse is good, but
Could you
we
go
can.
lower?
Yeah, we.
I was just gonna say if we could drop it an octave, that would be. Or half. I don't know.
Like two, like
Two
three
octaves?
semitones.
Oh, 3 semitones.
Here's a crazy idea, guys. What if right there, when it was going to high, that's when a male voice comes in?
It could be a duet.
Be a duet.
Okay.
I had thought that the chorus part should probably be 2 voices anyway.
That's
So
good.
Maya's alone, and then
What an
basically
idea.
where that bridge comes in and what becomes chorus should be 2 voices anyway. Whether it's Maya or whether it's you two or Caleb might add something to it, could be 3 even parts, who knows. But at least I feel it should be 2.
That's such a cool idea because it's like, okay, imagine if it's 2 people separately reminiscing about this, trying to not remember this relationship they had, and we're hearing like what the one person almost remembers, what the other person almost remembers, and it's like a will they, won't they kind of thing, but they probably shouldn't.
Yeah, both trying not.
But they will, and then they'll be like, damn, why did we do that? Yeah.
As well, the 3 of us kind of had that same thought when the 3 of you came up here on stage, that it could be this kind of duality and different takes on it. Could be interesting, could be challenging. I like the idea though.
Cool. That's fun.
I think they're walking through the that old fishery that burned down at different times.
Ooh.
So one's in the spring, one's in the fall. You know, one's when the daffodils are colorful, and the other time is maybe it's gray.
And one leaves something behind, and then it's found and maybe misinterpreted.
Because is that
So
the
we are
place-
also going to record a music video tonight on a field of daffodils.
So is that the place like where they first met, right? Or is that the place where they like?
We used to go for walks.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes, someone dies. It's a fire. And it's the ghost.
It's the ghost. I really want to. Like now you're.
We knew someone would die by the end of this songwriting session. I just thought it would be Caleb.
And because you only lost your consciousness in the fire, you didn't fully die. You're struggling to remember, and that's
Right.
your lyrics.
I'm trying to remember that I'm dead.
Whoa.
How come it's me now? I just died.
It's always been you.
No, you almost did. You only actually had some brain damage from oxygen loss. There you go.
Okay, so wait a second. Just like, okay, summary. So there was a death,
Submarine?
and
There was a
there's
romance
yeah.
that
There was.
that was kind of toxic,
Okay.
and then the good parts of it made them forget the bad parts.
Yeah.
And then there was a tragic fire at the fishing plant,
Yeah.
and one of them dies. And then because he died, now I'm saying it's a guy, she's forgetting all the bad shit. Like he beat her.
Whoa.
You know, whatever he did to her that was really bad. But then he died, and then she was like,
She forgets it now. She wants to go be with this ghost.
yes,
Like in the movie Ghost.
yeah. But also Bruce Willis,
And
where
they're
he
making
doesn't
pottery.
realize he's dead.
Love
until
this.
the little kid.
But then,
The Sixth Sense.
The Sixth Sense. That's the
Okay.
one.
then
Okay.
she smells the daffodils, and it brings it all back.
That's right. The daffodils
Okay.
that are growing out of the grave from the ashes of the fire.
And then she's able to like live on.
I thought I was the only one.
But it'll
drinking
all be a
coffee
metaphor, so
that
none of that will be very evident. But that's the story.
Okay, that's the backstory.
Okay, done. It's a
Okay.
musical.
You can tell we're a little neurospicy.
Okay, so where does the story begin? What's the opening scene?
Well, I think currently where Maya begins, it does feel like a good place to
Correct.
begin.
Well, I mean, if I may, if we're production-wise wanting to start Caleb's idea with the slow intro piano, maybe it's the remembering that someone's already dead and they're remembering, and now you're like going back through telling the story.
Is this one of those songs where you hear the story at the beginning and you don't know that one of the characters is dead until the end?
Yes.
When
like
it's
a Sixth
uncovered
Sense.
and oh yeah.
100%.
Okay, gotcha.
I almost remember your hands in my hair that night in November, as if I was there. The way you were staring, it felt like I knew. I always remember this perfect shade of blue. I've been looking at you and it's on my mind.
that's the thing. I think you should be
Okay.
somebody. Of course, do you know what I mean?
Let's hear it.
Yeah. So. I don't know, but like whatever.
No, that was good.
So I think at this point we should try and get to that point in the system so that the instruments are going in, and then everyone can focus on writing the rest of the lyrics as they come, and if we need to cut and paste sections for
punch
extra verses,
in.
whatever. But I think there's enough lyrical content here to go, and what you played, the slow intro, Colleen, Jordan had a really good idea that Maya, when your part's coming in and the guitar's coming in, what might be nice is having a very heavy reverb automating out, so it sounds like it's coming from the distance in.
Yes.
Maya plays her verse, and then there's the change
Yes.
where you two both sing the split as a chorus part, I suppose.
Cool.
So if we can get a tempo and some instruments into the platform, will be cool now.
Yeah, great.
And then we can finish writing.
Yeah, we are allowed to record everything except acoustic guitar.
Okay.
That's the current rule. We're moving away from the acoustic version that has us in this mindset of this is an acoustic cool song.
Yeah, I feel like you do your producer
Let's do
magic
some
now, and then we'll be like.
magic and,
I'm not opposed to using it to get it in.
Yeah.
If we need to, and then we can take it away, use it as a scratch track just to get the feel of everything in there. So effectively, I guess we'd start with your part, but that's at a slower tempo. So I don't know whether you want to oversee that a little bit as to what we establish Maya's first
BPM
tempo,
wise.
and then Colleen being a little slower, obviously. So
Yeah.
maybe we record that free time, no tempo, and then basically we record.
Totally.
Maya's
Right
part.
now, I think we can focus on not the actual intro, but the intro of when the time, signature changes.
Yeah, which is Maya's
The
part.
Maya's part right now.
Yeah, and then we can add that part in later.
Yeah, Colleen's part is easily addable
Yeah.
in the beginning and doesn't alter the rest of the song.
Correct.
Can I?
Okay, Caleb.
So
I'll
do you
join
need
in the
me
studio.
or do you? Okay.
I'll go in the studio with you now, and then I'll steal you in a few minutes.
All right.
So, what's happening? We're trying to dial in the BPM, the tempo of the song. And Caleb is the king of tempos.
So I want to say try that.
What are we at?
65. What is it? 121.
65.
5 times is 130. Yeah. Okay. So. 20.
Yeah. Okay, we're at 120.
Which
At
depends on
120. And then I think that Maya's going to try the chord progression now, just to see if it fits with the BPM. Do you play keys, Maya? No.
Maya, can you sing your part without the guitar player?
Yeah.
Is that something you can do?
I've been looking at you and it's on my mind. Life moves on the water, the truth ain't quite right. The swell of rain spread on my hand. Start again, start again.
That more feels like it, right? That's 108.
Yeah.
How does that tempo sit with you, Colleen, for the second part that we have? Maybe a little slower?
Because I didn't really feel as good as when Ellie and Colleen got excited about the even more increase, and I feel like that's where we're at now, and I think it's slower, personally. What do y'all think?
Like we should take the
Like
whole thing
102.
slower?
Yeah, like
Couple BPM.
like 102 kind of vibes. Try 102, and then you sing your part, and even though we know we have the Ellie in between, from her part, sing your part and see how it feels.
I've been looking at you and it's on my mind. Light moves on the water, the truth ain't quite right. The smell of rain spread on my hands. Start again, start again.
Always remember your hands in my hair. I knew. I'd always remember that shade of blue.
Again, yeah, more space for the things there.
Yeah. Because that way, then whatever it is to drums wise and stuff
Sorry,
is what will
G.
make it feel.
There we go.
Whether if we want it to feel fast, more make the drum feel that, you know, or the pushing.
The truth ain't quite right. Spread on my hand. Start again. Start again.
All right, but yeah, okay. So what did we think about?
Are we being live streamed right now?
Yep.
They're always watching us.
Okay.
Before we like record this in, so I
start writing the
could
lyrics?
throw a few sevens in there to kind of like.
I think the E major 7 would be a good, and then I think the G would also be
Like, so we start with just an F straight up.
straight F, straight G.
So we want a G7. That's maybe not. And then an E major 7.
Mm-hmm.
We could do major 7. Or not.
No, I think
Okay.
save it.
And then. Right. Need like, if this chorus is gonna go in there, it needs to have some of that, some of the jazzy element to it. Okay, so let's put it.
Or the pushing.
The truth ain't quite right.
To a certain degree, you need to be open to collaborate, right? Absolutely. And you need to be willing to let go of your ideas. And there are times when the best, most productive thing to do in a team is to hold to your idea and say, this is strong. Let's keep on this path. Yeah.
So how do you find that happy medium where you're like, yeah, and that's what I'm almost trying to be the happy medium of everyone.
Yeah, right.
To say, no, but that's really good though. Can we not toss it? Or, hey, can you try this? You know, almost the same thing as what you're doing, but let's, you know. And I love what Colleen just did before we left, because she really does care about that. So she's actually bridging right now her part to make it more cohesive with Maya's more jazzy aspect.
Yeah.
So we're having this pop, jazz, folk-esque, you know, combo make more sense with, you know, together.
Totally. And that's beautiful. And the fact, I suppose that's how many fusions take place, right? It doesn't always just fall into place and now you have two different genres working together. It sometimes does take a minute to resolve any friction and that you hear in it.
And it's so tough, right? Music is one of those things where, you know, you can only play G, E minor, C, D so many times. And, right, like, or, you know, this progression. How do you take, you know, we're in 2026. How do you take the reality that 5 people that have listened to hundreds of thousands of songs or tens of thousands of songs or whatever, and have written hundreds, dozens, whatever of songs, how do we take that and make it not sound like a song that's already done, you know, or 3 songs that's already been done, you know, cohesively into one?
Absolutely. And how would you, when I'm listening to the song right now, I'm hearing elements of 50 songs that I've heard before. And then I'm also hearing just little hints, whispers of something new. And how would you, or how do you sort of tease out those whispers and make them into an actually like a special moment in the song?
Yeah, so that's what I think I'm really trying to focus on that aspect of it. And thankfully so is our producer. And you know, we keep, you know, throughout the songwriting sesh, we kind of would look at each other and be like, you know, there was that agreement between us, which has happened multiple times now, even tempo-wise, stylistically. And then when I would, you know, kind of say, what do you think about this? You know, he's like, absolutely. Yeah. So there's elements where that is me and the producer's priorities, I think, right now. Yeah. So I almost feel like a co-producer more than I do a songwriter right now, which is great because that was kind of what I wanted to do. And then, but then also guiding, right? Like, you know, I told Maya, go work on the second verse with Drew, you know, and see what magic comes out of. It could be one word that Drew's influence changes on Maya's second verse, and it become the best verse ever written, just because that one word changed it to really drive it home. So yeah, it's getting there.
So as a team lead, but also just as a mentor, which knowing you, I just know that you embody the mentor energy in many
Trying my best.
many areas of your life. How do you make somebody else feel okay about those little mistakes?
You know, it's funny, you know, the same way we say like practice makes perfect, practice makes permanent, etc. Just keep working on it. Same thing. If you make enough mistakes in your performative life or in your studio life or whatever, you'll actually be more okay with mistakes.
Yeah, isn't that true?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, or when you realize that, hey, I'm a human being, I have bronchitis, or whatever the thing may be. I didn't warm up properly. Life didn't allow me to get my calm time before hitting the stage.
Yeah.
I'm feeling kind of whatever. When you do that enough, or when that happens to you, depending on how you look at it, then eventually you're gonna get more comfortable with it. And then it's ironic because then you can actually excellentify. You know, I'm gonna kill a verbiage, but excellentify a non-excellent moment, and your feeling will still be confident.
Right.
So how do I translate that as a mentor? Sign up for the Elevate membership.
We should talk about that.
That's how I can't give them for free on this live stream. If you join you know, the Elevate membership, you know, and let me, because even though I'm making this kind of a joke, the truth is that it's individual. At the end of the day, one thing I've noticed through mentoring, and I've done everything from speak at, you know, 1,000-person schools to one-on-one mentorship. And I've realized that the one-on-one's almost more impactful. 1,000-person picture or video looks super cool.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Good for your resume, good for to keep you booked. But the impact I made is probably more on the 27 vocal students I've had. Does that make sense? Like individually, because how Jordan needs to be taught is very different to how Bob or Susie needs to be taught.
100%.
So I can't actually even give the answer honestly, because it would be based off of how you feel.
I love that.
And how you look at it.
Absolutely. And that answer sort of highlights the watching YouTube videos, everyone watching the same YouTube video to get the advice, all trying the same advice as if it is a one-size-fits-all, and it just isn't. Right.
But because we live in a society where, you know, the schooling system, the workforce, etc., teaches us that is how it's meant to be.
That's right. How
do you then marry that to actual creativity or art? It's kind of impossible. So you have to divorce yourself from this thing you've been doing since you were 3, from kindergarten, from early childhood to all the way past university or whatever, or straight into the workforce. You know, it's almost ironic because you think of, all right, you're 18 or 19 years old, you just graduated high school. Generally speaking, there's 2 options. You go to work or you go to school.
Right.
Very rarely does someone walk up to you, you know, or in their chats with you say, so what are you going to do, man? Write a song or 2 this next year?
Yeah. Never.
I don't know, you know? Oh, hey, man, you're going to travel around the world and take pictures?
Yeah.
Now, people are doing it, right? It exists, and it exists on a grand level.
Yeah.
But it hasn't actually changed or impacted our culture to the point of conversationally in the house or in the, you know, family reunion or whatever. It's kind of like we already have this presupposed idea as to what life should look like.
And around that, you know, so at 12 you do this, and at 15 you do this. Well, you know how teenagers are. And then we expect, you know how teenagers are in their latter teenage years to know exactly what they want to do. That's preposterous. 2 years ago, you were saying to me, well, you know how teenagers are. And now they have to figure out what degree they want and dedicate $100,000 on 5 years of their life.
Absolutely.
That seems preposterous. Now, that's objective, though. That could be exactly what that person needs. And it has been many times in life. All I'm saying is, how do we start involving one of the options to be, so man, what you gonna do? Video, flowers, because you want to, write a song, draw, take art classes. You've never done art in your life, you want to do art classes, go ahead. You don't need a degree, you don't need a job. Well, that sounds preposterous. Does it though? Because when you're at school, you took a student loan or you know what I mean? Like there's so many,
and the pressure's high.
And the pressure's high, and And there's this indecisiveness, right, that exists, but you have to be decisive. So then you're living in a fugue state at all times.
Right.
The good thing about art is we are allowed for at least those moments to escape the fugue state and just be creators.
And what I'm hearing too is that in those moments of art is a chance for artists and youth coming up to listen to their own voice, to listen to themselves. And that's maybe what mentorship is in a way too. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that it's about taking a break from all the voices and everything that you're hearing to actually look inward and listen to your own voice. And maybe that says go take pictures around the world. Maybe that says go become a lawyer. Maybe it says, play basketball, whatever it is, but it's your voice that you're listening.
Maybe it says you can take pictures around the world and become a lawyer and play basketball.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Like none of those three things have to define your next 5 years.
That's right.
Or your life. You're not identified via lawyer, basketball, picture taker.
And so we probably should mention that, one of the reasons why House of Owl reached out to you initially is because you are this natural mentor. And people that come through House of Owl, artists, are always looking for a bit of guidance and just someone who's actually done it to say, hey, maybe don't zig, try zigging, at this juncture. And I know that you've had 1,001 experiences already and you've got 1,001 more to go. But what does it, for the Elevate membership, what do you hope to offer to artists that come through House of Owl?
Man, I'm just trying, honestly, I'm trying to give people something that I didn't have, or multiple things that I didn't have. I genuinely had to learn everything myself, right? And, I don't want to sound like the victim and call it the hard way, but it was.
It was hard.
It was. So I'm trying to just give, essentially. Obviously, there's a small financial barter there, but even that, the cost is, man, if someone had offered the Elevate membership to me 15 years ago, I would jump on it with all the exuberance, all the passion. So, I think learn to also invest into ourselves. And that's what a lot of young artists don't think of, because we have this TikTok, Instagram culture of virality. And the truth, the substance of sustainable art isn't viral. It's long term.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think that should probably get back into the studio here. I bet you're itching to.
I want to hear where they've gotten. Yeah, where they've gotten. Let's do it.
Okay, I'm going to throw a curveball at all the songwriters here. Okay. So why don't you come with me for a second, Kevin? We'll throw this curveball at them together. Here we go. Yeah. What we're going to do is, you guys are going to have to. Let's do it together. Okay. We're between a take right now.
Cooking it up.
We're coming in. Pause.
There's room for
Pause.
Like 4 more people in here. Right?
4 more people.
Get on in, get cuddly.
Okay, we've got a curveball for you guys. Okay, coming at you.
Oh no.
So, the curveball is this. You guys remember that other song title?
What was it?
My Future Regrets. Yeah, right. Second song. No. Yeah. You take these words and integrate these lyrics somewhere. All right, my friends. So that ends episode 3 of our TELUS Story Hive on location, Victoria, Carpe Noctem. We're going to take a 1-hour break from the live stream. Join us back here at 10 o'clock, and this is going to be our final hour. As you can see, not much time left on the clock here. So when you come back, we're going to hear what they've got, what they've recorded, and then finally hear the full release of the song. Big thank you to everyone involved. We will see you in 1 hour's time for the final episode. Well, that wraps up another Story Hive on location, Victoria. If you have a story to tell and you want to be featured on this show, just scan the QR code and apply to be a guest. Until then, this is Jordan Dack with Story Hive on location, Victoria. I look forward to connecting again soon. Be well.